Welcome back to Mizzima Talk 3 Years Fight for Freedom. In this session, we're going to discuss about the human rights situations in Myanmar. Tenzar Shonglei is an advocacy coordinator of Asian Committee for Democracy Development. But before the discussion, I want to show you the video report about the human rights situations in Myanmar. Please have a look.
မြန်မာနိုင်ငံရဲ့လူအခွင့်အရေးအခြေအနေဟာစစ်အာဏာရှင်စနစ်အဆက်ဆက်မှာဘယ်တော့မှမကောင်းခဲ့ပါဘူး။အယက်သားအစိုးရလက်ထက်မှာလည်းစစ်တပ်ရဲ့အခမ်းကဏ္ဍကိုဝင်ရောက်ဆွတ်ဖက်ခွင့်မရှိခဲ့တာကြောင့်စစ်တပ်ရဲ့လူအခွင့်အရေးချိုးဖောက်မှုတွေကိုဒီတိုင်းလက်ပိုက်ကြည့်နေရတဲ့အနေအထားမျိုးသာရှိခဲ့တာပါ။2021ဖေဖော်ဝါရီ1ရက်စစ်တပ်ကအာဏာသိမ်းပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းမှာတော့စစ်တပ်ဟာအာဏာသိမ်းမှုအပေါ်ဆန့်ကျင်ဆန္ဒပြသူတွေကိုအကြမ်းဖက်နှိမ်နင်းရာကအစပြုလို့အစိုးရဆုံးလူအခွင့်အရေးချိုးဖောက်မှုတွေအထိလက်ရဲစရဲကျူးလွန်ပါတော့တယ်။ဆန္ဒပြပြည်သူတွေကိုဥကောင်းကိုချိန်ပြီးပြစ်ခတ်တပ်ဖြတ်တာဖမ်းဆီးချုပ်နှောင်ပြီးနှီးမျိုးစုံနဲ့ညှဉ်းပန်းနှိပ်စက်တာလူတယောက်ချင်းကစပြီးအစုလိုက်အပြုံလိုက်လက်ပြန်ကျိုးတုပ်ပစ်တက်တာအရှင်လက်လက်မီးရှို့တပ်ဖြတ်တာတပ်ဖြတ်ပြီးရုပ်အလောင်းတွေကိုလူမြင်ကွင်းမှာဆွန့်ပစ်တာစတဲ့ကမ်းကုန်တဲ့ရက်စက်မှုတွေနဲ့ပြည်သူလူထုအကြောက်တရားတွေရသွားအောင်လုပ်ပြခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဆရာဇဝတ်မှုဆိုတာလက်နက်ကင်ပရိပခတွေမှာအပြည့်ပြည့်ဆိုင်ရာလူသားချင်းစာနာထောက်ထားမှုဥပဒေပါနိုင်ငံတကာစစ်စည်းမျဉ်းတွေကိုဖောက်ဖျက်ကျူးလွန်တဲ့လုပ်ရက်ကိုခေါ်တာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ရာဇဝတ်မှုမြောက်တဲ့သတ်မှတ်ချက်တွေထဲမှာနှိပ်စက်တာဒါမှမဟုတ်လူမဆန်စွာပြုမှုတာတစားခံအဖြစ်ဖမ်းဆီးတာတရားဥပဒေမဲ့ရည်ရွယ်ချက်ရှိတပ်ဖြတ်တာအဆောက်အဦတွေလူနေအိမ်တွေကိုဖျက်ဆီးတာအယက်သားလူထုကိုရည်ရွယ်ချက်ရှိပြစ်မှတ်ထားတိုက်ခိုက်တာဒါမှမဟုတ်စစ်ပွဲမှာဓာတ်ရိုက်ပါဝင်ပတ်သက်မှုမရှိသူတွေကိုဥတီပြီးပြစ်မှတ်ထားတိုက်ခိုက်တာစန့်ကျင်ခုခံမှုကင်းမဲ့နေတဲ့မြို့တွေရွာတွေအိမ်တွေအဆောက်အဦတွေကိုတိုက်ခိုက်တာဘုံကျဲတာအမြောက်နဲ့တစ်တာတွေပါဝင်ပါတယ်စစ်ကောင်စီတပ်နဲ့လက်ဝေခံပြူစောထီတွေပြည်သူစစ်တွေဟာအာဏာသိမ်းပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းကနေဒီကနေ့အထိစစ်ရာဇဝတ်မှု၃မျိုးကိုလက်ရဲဆက်ရဲကျိန်ဖန်များစွာကျူးလွန်ခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဒီလိုကျူးလွန်တဲ့ကိစ္စနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးခိုင်လုံတဲ့တပ်တွေအထောက်အထားတွေရှိနေတယ်ဆိုတာကိုလည်း IIMM ခေါ်ကုလသမဂ္ဂရဲ့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံဆိုင်ရာလွတ်လပ်တဲ့စုံစမ်းစစ်ဆေးရေးရန်ရအဖွဲ့ရဲ့အစီရင်ခံစာတွေမှာဖော်ပြထားတာကိုတွေ့ရမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။စစ်ကောင်စီတပ်တွေမကြာခဏကျူးလွန်လေးရှိတဲ့စစ်ရာဇဝတ်မှုတွေကတော့စစ်တပ်ရဲ့နယ်မြေရှင်းလင်းရေးစစ်စင်ရှိမှဖမ်းဆီးထားတဲ့အယက်သားတွေကိုတပ်ဖြတ်မှုအယက်သားတွေကိုခွဲခြားမှုမရှိဘဲပြစ်မှတ်ထားပြီးအင်အားသုံးဘုံကျဲတိုက်ခိုက်မှုနဲ့နေအိမ်အဆောက်အုံတွေကိုမီးရှို့ဖျက်ဆီးမှုတွေပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်စစ်ကောင်စီဟာနိုင်ငံရေးစစ်ရေးစီးပွားရေးတန်တမန်ရေးမျက်နှာစာအားလုံးမှာပုံမိုရှုံးနှိပ်လာတဲ့အမျှအယက်သားပြည်သူတွေအပေါ်ရက်ဆက်ကြမ်းကြုတ်ဆုံးနီလန့်တွေနဲ့ဖိနှိပ်လာပါတယ်။နယ်မြေရှင်းလင်းရေးစစ်စင်ရေးမှာဖမ်းဆီးထားတဲ့အယက်သားတွေကိုတပ်ဖြတ်မှုအယက်သားတွေကိုခွဲခြားမှုမရှိဘဲပြစ်မှတ်ထားပြီးအင်အားသုံးဘုံကျဲတိုက်ခိုက်မှုနေအိမ်အဆောက်အုံတွေကိုမီးရှို့ဖျက်ဆီးမှုစတဲ့စစ်ရာဇဝတ်မှုတွေကိုနေ့စဉ်နဲ့အမျှကျူးလွန်နေပါတယ်။ဒီကိစ္စတွေဟာစစ်အာဏာသိမ်း3နှစ်တာကာလထဲလက်နက်ကင်ပရိပခဖြစ်ပွားတဲ့နေရာတွေမှာဖြစ်ရိုးဖြစ်စဉ်တစ်ခုလိုဖြစ်နေပါတယ်။ပြည်သူတွေအကြောက်တရားရအောင်လှုပ်ဆောင်နေတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။လက်နက်ကင်ပရိပခတွေမှာလူသားတွေအပေါ်ဘလို့ပြုမှုဆက်ဆံရမယ်ဆိုတဲ့ Geneva Convention သဘောတူညီချက်တွေကိုချိုးဖောက်နေတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။
Tenzar Shonglei is an advocacy coordinator of Asian Committee for Democracy Development. She's joining with us online. Welcome to Tenzar Shonglei. How would you describe the overall situation and human rights situations in Myanmar since the military coup took place 3 years ago?
Thank you for inviting me today. I would say what we have been experiencing since 3 years ago is one of the most horrifying, systematic, and nationwide human rights crisis. I think it would be really rare to see those kind of crises in 21st century because we have ongoing genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity in place. So I think this is also a clear example how a state institution like a military can turn out to become the people's enemy. And by using the people's taxes and by killing its own citizens, It's also very stupid, I must say. And what is even crazier and sillier to me is all these human rights violations and crimes are happening since many, many decades ago by the same perpetrator and same institution. And till today, the junta in Myanmar still believe that they can keep brutalizing the people. So what is even more shocking to me as a young generation is this is all happening in a country bordering two of the biggest and powerful nations in the world, like India and China. And the fact that these countries are complicit in these crimes is horrifying, it's shocking to all of us and to our generations. So what is happening in Myanmar is a global affair, humanity crisis, the justice crisis, and it's a humanitarian crisis of the humans raised. We know that global citizens turn blind eyes to the situation in Myanmar because they think it's an internet affair. But I must say, amid all the crises around the world, it's so important that no one is forgotten. And I must say what is happening in Myanmar is a result of the delayed global justice system and the ignorance of the global leaders. And now 3 years on, since the military coup attempt in the cycle of violence and conflict, people in Myanmar are barely surviving to not lose themselves and to not lose their own life and to get out of the cycle of violence, cycle of impunity. And it's so horrifying and exhausting experiences for many of us.
Myanmar military is notorious to the human rights violation. That's all we all know that. But what is, can you tell me a specific human rights violation you have been observed or reported in this period?
I must say, and we also say in several statements that we have released that what is happening in Myanmar today is an attempt to rule the nation by the military. And their coup plan is not yet successful because of a strong resistance nationwide. And it's also ongoing terror campaign by the junta because of their own ideology, long-standing ideology, such as extremist nationalism, fascism, and patriarchy. So they use fear, particularly fear, as a political tool to contain and control people. So in their tactic, brutality and violence are the key elements. And the complete crackdown on basic human rights of the people, and I would say their main target is freedom of expression. So they arrest, torture, and kill the protester, dissent, civilians, and with specific target on young people, women from minorities background, and LGBTIQ people. So the junta also targeted publishers, media houses, journalists. The media freedom also deteriorating in the country. And even in recently, Shin Dewi, one of the prominent women filmmaker, she was sentenced to lifelong imprisonment. This is a clear example of how they've been keeping terrorizing the people in the country. And also communications and internet services in some 74 townships in the whole country, including most of the 17 townships in Rakhine State. They are all experiencing partial, intermittent, or total shutdowns. And even in the year 2023, in resistant area, which is more than half of the country, the junta has launched at least 900 airstrikes and killing more than 364 civilians, including scores of children, and torched nearly 80,000 houses around the country. And their scourge up policy even included in internally displaced camps, charges, monastery, even schools and hospitals. So last week, they have launched area and artillery shelling in one of the biggest markets in smallest states, Karenni state. So we are seeing also a turning point in terms of military resistance in last year around November following the Operation 1027. Military is losing more and more grounds, and the resistance forces also claim that they have captured 36 townships in the northern part of the country. So we are also seeing junta is increase in enforcing conscription, forced bordering, and laboring in most of these conflict-affected areas.
It's so brutal, and the operation is so high and harsh. But for human rights activists, they need to document that's true, all the records. And I'm wondering, what are the challenges and obstacles in this period for the human rights activists to document and documenting and advocating for human rights in Myanmar?
I must say, human rights defender in Myanmar, we have been experiencing this kind of oppression, and like maybe less than what we are experiencing right now, compared to in the last 10 years or 20 years. But I would say human rights defender, community organizer, and civil society organization, they are the experts on the ground, how to do things. They know how to document, and they are with the people, on the ground, for the people. So the human rights defender, they are also like targeted mostly by the junta as well. As well as human rights defender and women's human rights defender are facing more difficulty, challenges when the conflict intense in different areas. For example, many of us have to relocate from places to places and take shelter in different IDP camps, even though in the IDP camp it was burned by the military, and then like they have to move again. So when they are helping the refugees and internally displaced people, there are no internet, no communication, no humanitarian aids. So they just have to see them and witness that people are dying like in broad daylight in most of the area. So human rights defender, with their knowledge and when they protect and promote the human rights idea, also they are being targeted by different sides of the resistance, and also different sides that mainly targeted by the junta in different areas. And I would say, for example, in India borders, Manipur and Manipur and Mizoram, the central government is also building a fence to deter the people from Myanmar from fleeing out of the conflict. So these human rights defenders, when they are even trying to get out of the country, they are also again oppressed by the neighboring countries. And also in Thailand, displaced people are deported and extorted again, and also harassed by the security forces. So it's a nightmare to be a human rights defender and women's human rights defender in Myanmar at this moment.
Let's looking ahead. What are the key priorities or the actions needed to be taken to address the ongoing human rights concern in Myanmar?
I would say the United Nations and international community, international NGOs, and all these communities. As a young generation, as a women's human rights defender, as an activist for Myanmar in the past decade, I would say I'm so outrageous that there is no substantial and effective and meaningful action against the military junta, even today. So UN Security Council have adopted resolution 2669 last year. It passed as a one-year mark in December 2023, but I would say this resolution is too little and too late, because after the decades of atrocity by the junta, by the military, it produced no concrete progress towards holding the military genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, which has only intensified since the adoption of that resolution. And also the 5-point consensus adopted by the ASEAN's leader is also a failure. And after 2 years, there is no progress. And we have been repeatedly calling on international actors, including ASEAN, the UN agency, international non-governmental organizations, to cease any attempts at partnership with the junta in the name of the humanitarian aids, because partnering with the junta only exacerbates the crisis at hand, including by allowing the junta to continue to block aid from the region, the population under its attack. And also partnering with the junta also undercut the effective and efficient works of the countless local frontline humanitarian as well as civil society organization, community-based organization, and ethnic organization providing lifelong life-saving assistance on the ground. So I would say we need a new resolution under the Chapter 7 of the UN Charter that the UN Security Council must refer the situation of Myanmar to international criminal.
Thank you.